are constantly introducing ourselves to new people. Your introduction, you might have heard it called an elevator speech, should give people enough information to get a good idea of who you are and what you offer. But too often they sound like this. Hi, my name is Laura, and thanks for having me. This is my first time at this networking event, actually, and it's great to meet you all. I'm not really sure why I'm here, so I just thought I'd sit back and listen to everyone else. And that's exactly how I used to introduce myself at networking meetings. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight at this webinar. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you about the 3 principles of great introductions. By following these principles, you can create networking event introductions or elevator speeches that inspire the conversations and the relationships that lead to the outcomes you want. The winning introduction combines 3 things: brevity, clarity, and curiosity. We'll start with brevity, being brief. You can say a lot about yourself in 30 seconds. Remember, introductions are meant to be the start of a conversation, not the entire conversation. If you make a long, rambling introduction of yourself, you will appear unfocused. Plus, long, rambling introductions are very difficult to remember. When people are trying to recall, who was that person I met? They might not remember everything you said, but they might remember, oh, that was the person who wouldn't be quiet. It just kept going on and on. And that brings me to the third point, is that if you make a long, rambling introduction, especially in a meeting like this one, which is being held live online, you're going to be taking time away from other people at the event. How does one be brief? It is a matter of learning how to tell a complete story with limited resources. Maybe your resource is words. You use fewer words than you would. Maybe you're giving yourself a time constraint, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. Think of your introduction more like Twitter and less blog post. Clarity. Our introductions should use simple language that anybody can understand. Compare these for somebody who is a technical marketing engineer. As a technical marketing engineer, I act as the liaison between marketing and engineering to ensure that all Marcom and technical documentation describing our product's technical handling, functionality, and architecture are accurate and compliant. Compared to, as a technical marketing engineer, I bridge the gap between marketing claims and engineering reality. In the first introduction, I used my technical marketing engineer voice, and I described every aspect of my job. I used buzzwords such as Marcom, functionality and architecture, compliant. That is very nice if you're talking to someone who knows what a technical marketing engineer is, but not so great if you're meeting someone for the first time. The second one, and I'll repeat it because it is very brief and clear. As a technical marketing engineer, I bridge the gap between marketing claims and engineering reality. So you are acknowledging that marketing sometimes exaggerates and engineers have to be precise. So contrasting those 2 extremes really tells people what you do as a technical marketing engineer. Your introduction should tell people who you are, who you work with, and how you help them. You should focus on the benefits of what you offer, not the features of what you do. Compare these 2 introductions. This is what I myself might give at a networking meeting. So this is the one that you shouldn't follow the example. My name is Laura Foley. I'm a presentation designer, which means developing presentation narratives and designing slides. I also do communications audits where I review marketing communications, and I teach people how to do the stuff I do. Blah, 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 right? It's all about me. It's what I do, the features. It's a laundry list of the things that I do. But here it is focusing on benefits. My name is Laura Foley. I work with business owners, speakers, and sales professionals who want their marketing communication to drive business results and close sales. How do I do that? By helping them with presentation development and design, conducting audits of their marketing materials, and providing focused skills training to make them more confident communicators. That second introduction is focused on the clients that I work with and the things that I do to help them and how I help them very specifically. So that gives people at the networking meeting a chance to think of who I might be able to help, how I might be able to help them. The third thing I mentioned was curiosity. A good introduction makes people curious to learn more about you. You might drop in something intriguing that invites further conversation. Speaking from myself again, for an example, if the conversation were lagging, I would say something like, when my kids were little, people would ask me, how is it that your kids are so well behaved? And I would tell them, well, I train them as I would a dog. Later on, when we got a dog, people would ask me, Laura, why is your dog so well behaved? And I would tell them, I trained my dog like I trained my kids. That invites some conversation, right? Another thing you might do in a networking situation is to offer a special offer or a gift that people need to contact you to learn more about. An example of that would be, next week, I'm hosting a free webinar about how to sharpen your cooking knives. Would you like to come? So a gift, but the people have to make contact with you in order to receive the gift. Earlier, I gave you an example of the cringeworthy way I used to introduce myself at networking meetings. Toastmasters helped me to understand that those principles of brevity, clarity, and curiosity are the keys to communication. In Toastmasters, I practice writing and delivering speeches that use these principles. So I've learned to treat my networking introduction as a mini speech, a short story meant to inspire conversations and relationships. I hope I've given you some ideas on how to improve your own networking event introductions and elevator speeches. In Toastmasters, we learn how to write, practice, perform, and adapt our speeches to make them better every time we give them. You can do the same thing with your introduction and elevator speech. When you employ those three principles, brevity, clarity, and curiosity, when crafting your networking introduction, you will be able to make a memorable and favorable first impression that leads to further conversations. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you learned, please consider subscribing and don't forget to click on that bell to be notified whenever I post new content.